Hey there, my name is Gary Cosman and I am the founder and CEO of the educational justice and technology firm America Learns, and we're here today to talk about your hands. What's happened to me over the past 7 years as I've built up my company is that I've faced one constant challenge, which is making sure that my own hands are not in constant pain. What's happened is that I've been at the keyboard constantly over the past several years, and it's gotten to the point where there have been days when I cannot touch the keyboard, I cannot touch the steering wheel of my car without being in amazing pain. Can't touch sometimes my t-shirts. Ridiculous things because I just have completely tightened up all the muscles and tendons in my hands. We're not talking about carpal tunnel here, we're really simply talking about overuse of one's hands. And so as you can imagine, there have been some side effects other than pain to this process. The main one being is that I've spent thousands of dollars on medical services over the years, as well as a huge amount of time that could have been spent in many other ways that would have been much more fun and much more useful to my life. And what I'm going to show you today was the best investment that I made in my hands. It was through a physical therapist in Burbank, California named Robert Dorr. And he showed me these 5 simple stretches that I could do with my hands on my own every single day. And I swear to you that if I had been doing these stretches since the time that I began building my company, or even in high school or college, I would have not gotten myself into the situations that I have over the past few years when I have not been able to use my hands at all without being in an incredible amount of pain. So I'm going to show you these easy 5 stretches that you can do every day, and hopefully if you are in pain currently, this will help take that pain level down or make it go away completely. If you're not there yet, I know it's difficult to build in a proactive practice into your daily lives, but I really encourage you to do these 5 stretches every day, as it will save you a huge amount of pain and money and time throughout your life. So let's start with exercise number 1. I'm going to go ahead and lower my camera down here. You're simply going to take your palm, put it face out, and you're going to focus first on your index finger, and we're just going to curl it and then stretch it out. And what's so important to do as you curl it is that you not only bend this joint, but we're also bending what's called your end joint right here. So in effect, you're almost going to make a little C on your screen. You're going to curl and then stretch it out. And just focus on your index finger. Your other fingers are probably going to move as well, but just focus on stretching that index finger. And you're going to do this 5 to 10 times with each finger. And what you want to make sure that you do, besides making sure that you're bending all of your joints, is you want to feel a stretch right at the base joint area and into your hand. You should feel the tendon being stretched there. So that's 4, and that's 5. And then we're going to go on to your middle finger. Same thing, make sure that you bend all your joints. And as we do this, just as an aside, whenever I speak now to groups of college students or high school students, at the end of my talks, that's 5, I always ask the students if they're experiencing hand pain. And I can guarantee you now, whenever I go into a room full of these students, that about 80 to 100% of the students will raise their hands and say that their hands hurt when they're at the computer. And again, it's not necessarily a carpal tunnel issue. It's just overuse, and people have just tightened up their muscles and their tendons, and we just got to keep them loose in order to use them. So that was the 4th thing. We're now going to move on to the pinky. 4, 5. Okay. So what you want to make sure that you do is that you do that with your other hand as well. So we're going to move on to the 2nd of the 5 stretches right now. I'm going to lower my camera again and start out with your palm facing up. And this is a very similar exercise. This time though, we're going to focus on these 2 fingers, the 3rd and the 4th one, simultaneously. And all you're going to do is curl them just like you did with the individual fingers before, making sure that you bend both this joint, the main knuckle, and the end joints, and then stretch them together. So you should feel a stretch here and below those base joints. So curl and stretch, curl, stretch. And again, you want to do this 5 to 10 times on each hand. So that's 5. We're now going to move on to the third activity. And what we're going to do now, very similar to the first two, is we're going to take your palm face up. And this time we're going to focus on these 4 fingers all at the same time. And we're just going to curl them together. And again, making sure that you bend not only this joint, but also the end joints. Here's what it looks like from the side. And stretch. Stretch, 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 stretch. Curl, stretch, 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 stretch. Make sure you feel that stretch here and down into your palm. 3, 4, 5. And again, you want to do that with both of your hands. What I normally do when I'm doing these stretches is I'll do them in the car on the way to work. Sometimes I'll do them when I'm going for a walk with my dog. Sometimes I'll do them at work when I just need a break from the keyboard. Just do them whenever they're convenient to you. There's no bad time or wrong time to do them. So on to the fourth activity. This one's a little different. This one actually focuses on making sure that the angle between your thumb and your forefinger stays wide. It's really interesting. One of the things that I learned from my physical therapist, Robert Dorr, was that a lot of people's hand pain, again, is not caused by carpal tunnel, not only caused by tight muscles and tendons, but especially when the tendons and muscles cause this angle to contract. When I first saw my physical therapist, my angle was like this, which led to a lot of pain I learned. And now it's much wider. So this exercise is all about keeping this angle wide. What you're going to do is you're going to start with the palm facing up again, and you're just going to bring the very tip of your thumb to the base joint first of your pinky. And so you're going to go like that, and then you're going to stretch, 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 wide, wide, wide. Go down to the base joint, and then stretch as wide as you can. Down to the base joint, stretch as wide as you can. And we're going to do that 4 to 5 times with each finger, and obviously you're going to do this with both of your hands. Now on to the third finger. And onto the index finger. Just 1, 2, make sure you're stretching this as far as you can. 3, you should feel the stretch right here. 4, 5. Okay. 4 of the 5 activities are done. You're doing a great job so far, I'm sure. And now we're going to move on to the last one. So the last one is really the only one that's kind of confined to your desk. And it involves the use of a cup or a water bottle. And I'm going to back up the camera a little bit here. And all you're going to do is that when you place your cup or water bottle at your desk, you're going to first put it on one side of you. And when it's time to get a drink, you're going to pick it up. And you're going to make sure that when you pick it up, that your thumb and index finger are wrapped around it so that you're giving this angle a stretch. Again, this exercise is all about making sure that this angle here stays as wide as possible. So hold it like that, take your drink, put it in your other hand now and grip it the same way, and then put it on the other side of you. And then when you're thirsty again, pick it up again, make sure you're holding it the right way, take a drink, put it in the other hand, put it down. It's the simplest thing that you could do to make sure that the angle and these tendons and muscles associated with this angle in your hands stays loose. I strongly, strongly encourage you to do this. What you have to watch out for, though, is that you don't get a cup that's too wide. When I first started doing this, it was a little too wide, and I actually felt some pinching in my wrist. If it feels bad, don't do it. So, those are the 5 exercises. I tell you again, if I had been doing these when I started my company every single day, I know that I would have never, ever, ever ended up spending so much time so much money on medical services and that I would have never been in so much pain. And so if you're not in that horrid, horrible place yet, full of pain, I really encourage you to do these exercises every day to avoid getting into that place. If you are there, try these out. I hope it relieves your pain a little bit. And again, all of these exercises were taught to me by a physical therapist out in Burbank, California, named Robert Dorr. And if you guys happen to live in that neighborhood, I encourage you to see him. He's a phenomenal specialist. So if you have any questions for me, feel free to email me directly. My email address is Gary, Gary, at americalearns, LEARNS.net. Thanks so much. Bye.